999 M.41. I have never before abandoned a war before its conclusion. I have never defended a siege for 8 standard months, given my blood and risking my life to save an imperial world, only for my company to be ordered off world while the battle was not yet concluded. This should show the gravity of the situation, of the threats soon to come from the Eye of Terror. The spoiler has amassed his forces, and soon he will unleash the 13th Black Crusade against the Imperium. The Eye of Terror is a gaping wound in the galaxy's flesh, a place where the barrier between the warp and relapse space dissolves and the madness of chaos takes root. It is where the remnants of the traitor legions reside, and from where Abaddon launches his Black Crusades. At the dawn of his Great Crusade, more than 10,000 years ago, the Emperor created 18 Primarchs, his son, and from their genetic codes, he crafted the 18 legions of Adeptus Astartes. At the end of the Crusade, the Emperor's favored son, the Arch-Traitor Horus, betrayed humanity alongside 8 of his brothers, a full half of the legions falling to the corruption of chaos. The 9 loyalist Primarchs, Mygene's sire Robert Gillion, among them fought against them in the Horus Hersey. In its conclusion, the Emperor dueled Horus, striking him down and ending the Hersey. The Emperor, mortally wounded, was placed upon the Golden Throne, where he protects and guides mankind to this very day. The traitor legions were scoured from the galaxy and sought refuge in the Eye of Terror. They are despicable heathens and heretics devoted to the ruinous powers and spend most of their efforts fighting each other. Once every few centuries, the warlord Abaddon musters them all for an assault against the Imperium. He has tried 12 times before, and he has failed 12 times. The 13th will be stopped just as well. Unlike on Armageddon, we have done away with any pretense of delaying or stopping the enemy in the void, and our forces are being deployed directly onto Kajar. It is rare for all 10 companies of a chapter, 1,000 Marines in total, to be deployed to a single conflict. Though it holds much risk, our chapter master has deemed it necessary to dedicate all of our forces in the defense of Kajar. He will remain on orbit with the Gulliman's Fury and our strike cruisers to give assistance to the Imperial Navy. We had some time to meet with most of the forces we would be fighting alongside in our deployment region. They were mostly Cajun Imperial Guard regiments, called from across the Imperium to defend their home. But there were also contingents from the Black Templars and the Space Wolves. The Black Templars were with us at Armageddon and left at the same time, but we don't get along with them. The Knights of Ultramar are not salamanders, and yet we cannot tolerate the blatant lack of respect for civilian and Imperial Guard casualties that they show. They also entirely ignore the Codex Astartes, bringing shame to all sons of Rogel Dawn. The Space Wolves, however, are a different story. While it's true that they have been less regard for the Codex Astartes than the Black Templars, this is just something about that we find to be immensely honourable. The great company nearest to us actually fought alongside us against the Tyranids on 993.M41. And so some old friends invited us to partake in their war preparations. And then I shoved my power sword right up that knife-eared bee. Great story, Bill. Well, Billius, whatever his name is in this universe. To be honest, we may have overindulged a little. Novas passed out on the floor in just a few hours. Dagil followed soon after, and I don't know when Shiragius left. I'm pretty sure I got in a fist fight. I can't remember. That Fenrisian ale is a lot stronger than normal Astartes grade liquor. Wait, ale? I think it's ale, my bad. I've never ever heard of a black stone fortress until I saw it approach Kajar. Even from the surface, we could still see the massive spacecraft. I was told that I had the power to destroy Kajar and all of us on it. There were shields across the entire world keeping us alive. But the second the enemy destroyed them, the planet would be cracked with us on it. Oh, did they try. All of Abaddon, the despoilers, traitors, and daemons came at us, an unrelenting tide of unholy fury such that we could not hope to hold against forever. And yet, as we faced the tide, the light of humanity burned its brightest among its ranks. Such did our defense resound that we forced the War Master himself to enter the fold in Commander Creed's command tower. And though he was not there for us, he and his Black Legion cut through the Knights of Ultramar as if we were not even there. Novus. I had no time to consider Novus's sacrifice. I could only act on the chance he earned me when he exposed the spoilers back to me. I cast Fist. He sword me aside, sliced off my mechanical arm with his sword, and moved on without even the decency to finish me off. Shiragius and Corbius recovered as they were forced to withdraw. I didn't see Dago die, but our apothecary recovered his gene seed. We were busy reorganizing our forces when we got an order we had never expected to receive. Captain Varric to all Knights of Ultramar. Forces Creed has ordered a full evacuation of Cadia. It's the Blackstone Fortress. It is going to ram the planet. We loaded ourselves and as many Cadian guardsmen as we could into our Thunderhawk and made for orbit as fast as possible. True to Creed's word, the Beatard destroyed a Blackstone Fortress just to break Cadia. Things only got worse from there. We could not find the Guilliman's Fury. We had only one strike cruiser remaining in orbit, and when we docked, we learned what happened. No, we could not lose Cadia, no matter the cost. Helmsman ran the fortress. I, Master Cyrus. That ship was the heart of our chapter. It held almost all of our arms, our vehicles, our equipment, our recruitments, and our very soul. All of it lost for nothing. Wasted by a chapter master who did not understand his own limits. Only 170 of our battle brothers returned to the Nakai's honor. Just 10 of our Terminator veterans and 5 scouts. Our chapter is not a fight at fighting strength by any stretch of the imagination. And there very well might be no path to recovery without our fortress monastery. Captain Varric, maybe chapter master at this point, given he is our last captain, decided that we should make haste to the realm of Ultramar. You cannot do anything to fight here, and our best chance of recovering is with the Ultramarines, and our recruitment walls are near the realm. And if things get worse, then Lord Calgar may be willing to part with some gene seed. We could have lost all of our ships, our armor, our bolters, and it would not have been as crushing as a blow as the loss of our gene seed reserves and of so many unharvested brothers. Gene seed is how our chapter survives. Space Marines have an organ in our throats that produces it, and on death, enough can be harvested to create 2 brothers in his place. It's very rare enough as it is, but the Knights of Ultramar gene seed is unstable. Only a small fraction of possible Space Marines candidates are compatible, which is the very reason that I myself was recruited. Despite being a non-ideal aspirant, it will take decades to reach full capture strength again, and the Imperium might not have that much time left. As we made our way through the warp, it seemed as though our luck had changed. Our path seemed to be clear of warp storms, and we were making more distance that would normally ever be imaginable. It seemed as if the Emperor himself was clearing our path, and then our navigator lost sight of the Astronomicon, the light by which the Emperor actually guides a ship's path. The Emperor empowers the Astronomicon as he sits on the golden throne, a shining psychic beacon of his love for humanity, a point by which the psychically gifted navigators can plot a course through warp space. Without it, a vessel is helpless in a churning sea of warp storms and turbulent eddies, unable to even leave without fear of entering through the heart of a star or 100 light years from the galactic plane. We were lost. We were forced to wander through the warp in the darkness. I have heard stories of vessels lost just like ours. They come back to real space filled with daemons, their Gelar fields having failed long ago, or their occupants find themselves arriving at their destination several centuries in the future, time having bent around them, or worse. They crash into other ships and debris fields and forms massive, dilapidated space hulks, hurtling through the warp for all of eternity. This was not to be our fate. After 2 standing months in the warp, we found the light once more and exited to real space, just a handful of systems from Makaraj itself, and then the astropath received a distress rune. It is Abaddon. He got the first, and he is lying siege to Makaraj itself. Our numbers matter not. We as ultramarine successors must protect the homeworld and Gilliman's body in the fortress of Hera. The Tech Marine had managed to repair several suits of Terminator armor while we were lost in the warp. The veterans that wielded them left dead on Kaja, though there are far more veteran survivors than I. Varric saw to it that I was issued one of these precious relics. I did not know what he saw in me, but I promised to never disappoint him. The time on our approach to Makaraj was filled with maintenance rituals, prayer, and constant exercises with our sole remaining Terminator squad. These brothers are the oldest and most experienced of our chapter, and their advice is often requested by younger brothers to learn the operation of Terminator armor from them was an enlightening lesson, the quality of which I'll never see again. The fight was desperate from the very second of our arrival into the system. The Black Legion were on the verge of breaching the fortress of Hera itself, and we were ordered to immediately land and help in defending the Ultramarines Fortress Monastery. My Terminator squad flew in the Thunderhawk with Captain Varric directly to our target, dropping from the vehicle in the middle of Black Legion ranks. We pushed them, but they pushed back. Soon we were side by side with Ultramarines, and we were forced into the sanctum of rebuked Gilliman himself. When I saw my Primarch in his stasis field, under threat from enemies not but meters away, it sent me into a blind rage. I ignored everything except the weapons in my hand and the enemies before me. When Varric was slain by a traitor Terminator, I took his sword and ran the traitor through. Only when the miracle came did I allow myself a moment's hesitation. Gilliman. For a moment, the battle was forgotten, and it was all I could manage not to fall to my knees. At the very sight of him, rebuked Gilliman, the father of the Ultramarines, our Primarch, a son of the Emperor himself, was alive once more. When the stillness was broken, I flung myself against the traitors with righteous wrath and the holy fury, the likes of which this galaxy has never seen. For this day, I fought by the side of my Primarch, and my sword was in service to the last and greatest hope for mankind. The legends of our chaplains spoke of their Primarch were more true than I could ever imagine. We were on the edge of eternal defeat. The last men holding the last line were mere meters from the very end of everything, and yet under Gilliman, we turned back their tide and forced the traitors into a full rout. Keep on going, guys. I was leading the last of the Knights of Ultramar. I rallied under our fallen captain's sword as I sliced through the traitor scum. We joined with Ultramarines in formation and cleared the fortress. I lost sight of our Primarch before the battle was won, but I am told that he made his way and the command post and began to lead the defense properly.